Hello, my beloved friends. Let's sample some mustards. I'm going to debut my Donald Duck spoon, and I've had this since I was a small child. My favorite spoon. Okay, these are offered by Trader Joe's, and I eliminated the carton, but I hung on to this scrap of it because I think it's marketed in a clever way. The mustard Miscellany, a meditation on Dijon. So that is a nice way to begin the experience. Now we're going to have basil mustard, followed by provincial mustard, provincial, black currant mustard, and finally some chablis. They are labeled for individual sale, breaking from the norm in that way. So, you ready? Let's go. Beginning with the basil. They're packaged effectively. I like the colors. It was a good presentation in the sampler box, and some finely hewn details there on the paper. And the ingredients here, I suppose I'll only make mention of like important details in the ingredients list. So it does actually have some white wine and some basil, but just a smidgen more natural basil flavoring than actual basil, I believe. So that's a bother, isn't it? Okay, so like the aroma cup. So far, so good. It has a brininess, almost like a pickle water taste, aroma. So I suppose that puts it in the realm of a cheap vinegar aroma. And they do here say that it's just distilled vinegar, so it's got to be the conventional stuff. My palate, though, is erupting into a frenzy, a flood of salivation. I don't have any crackers, but I do have some water to cleanse my palate between mustards. So Donald is in the unfortunate position of not being able to sample what's on the spoon. So maybe if I had another popular animated character spoon, they could sample from one another. But no hints of fresh basil, and it's all going to be in the tasting, so I'm going to have a nice substantial spoonful of the first offering. Only slightly grainy, a very small amount of heat. Overpowered by a cheap, you know how those dehydrated spice blends smell? Like if you get a spice sampler, maybe during the holiday season, and it's got just cheap dehydrated basil in it that's been on the shelf for months, years. It's got a really bad flavor, a cheap dehydrated basil taste. And I went through a couple of modulations during the tasting, and all of them were bad. It started poorly, and it ended even worse. So now I feel like my palate is coated with just rancid spice. So that's a bad beginning. I like clean, straight mustards usually. I'll have, in the fridge now, I think I've got like a kind of a nice spicy French style mustard. And I have a yellow mustard for the occurrences when that is appropriate. And I've also got often have an intact mustard seed, kind of a brown mustard, like a more rustic mustard. They all have their place. And this mustard mixture thing, well, it's new to me. Let's hope that we can... I'm not even going to sample that one again, so I'm going to move forward into the provincial mustard. Again, nice packaging design. Kind of beautiful. The jars are of a nice shape. Well fit. And the ingredients to note: red pepper, some sunflower oil and garlic, actual tomatoes, parsley, and flavor. Just flavor. An ingredient called flavor. So this one seems more appealing to me already. They're not giving me the seal, like the pop seal. They're not cracking open in that way. So shelf stable without any of a vacuum under the lid. Let's go. Already more of a food-like aroma. I'm catching notes of a good savory tomato-based dish. Well, it's an improvement over the last one, but I wouldn't even call it a mustard. And once again, my palate is left with kind of a sick, really kind of an uneasy miasma in my mouth. And but it began okay, and it had the taste of kind of some sun-dried tomatoes, and then it evolved a bit into, a peppery tomatoey paste. And then altogether, I was thinking, this one might be suitable for putting onto some crusty bread, maybe, followed by a drizzle of maybe a real sun-dried tomato in oil or something. But it ended poorly, and really my entire mouth now is coated with a bad flavor once again. So it makes me really not want to revisit it. And it's a shame. It smells okay. Maybe messing with mustard really isn't the way to do it. I've always been a fan of mustard, and one mustard in the fridge just won't do. You have to have a number of mustards for different situations. And there's even an extremely garlicky mustard, I think, in the fridge now that serves its purpose well, but it's pretty much only probably, mustard seed, vinegar, and garlic. And in that case, it's a success. But both of these last two condiments didn't seem very mustardy to me at all. Actually, zilch in the mustard flavor category. All right, and maybe the most attractive of all so far. Beautiful looking product. Lots of shelf appeal. The blurb is right. Marketing is top notch. I mean, unfortunately, this is a bad meditation session. Seriously disrupted by bad flavors today. Right, so the ingredients to note: Dijon black currant, liquor, so it's an alcoholic Mustard. 4.8% alcohol. Once again, some wine. Once again, some indeterminate flavor mentioned. Vegetable juice for color. Purple carrot, radish, and purple sweet potato. Maybe this is going to be the one that's going to get us there. Let's see. From the aroma cup, almost like a cream cheese. Yeah, getting a lot of berry. So a tang of vinegar and something that might really want to arrive on maybe a toasted bagel. Because the bagels, I mean, they respond well to both mustards and cream cheese toppings. So this one smells, I mean, the smells are just ramping up in terms of their pleasantries. Right, so it's good. I mean, it's pleasant. Like the first one, they've all tricked me so far. Okay, let's just move forward. Far grainier, but not granular in a good way, just mushy. It's got the bad characteristic of both being more mushy and more liquidy. Not something I want to revisit. Ending with a bad soured taste. Maybe these have been exposed to air and there's just this... How can something really be marketed that tastes this bad? It's not even a mustard taste. Gently spicing some mustard with some unusual ingredients, I mean, 1 out of 4 would be okay. I mean, if I liked it, if they were all high quality, I mean, because everyone has their own tastes that they like, and I'm just hoping that this 4th one is the one. Donald, I'm sorry, my man. He's holding his finger up. He has 4 fingers, and he's got 1 in the air. Maybe he's indicating that this is going to be the one, the actual good one out of the 4. Let's hope so. It would be a happy coincidence. But I'm sorry, Donald. You got all dressed up for this review, and this is what we've been presented with. Maybe it's good you can't taste from your own spoon. All right. Excuse me, we only have PDO Chablis white wine, 10%. Vinegar, salt, citric acid, water, mustard seeds. That's it. All right, so this has got to be the one. It has to be. How can you mess this up? I don't think there's any way. Okay. Something a little off in there. I mean, it doesn't really seem like the usual wine vinegar mustard, but let's see. Maybe this is the one that smells the worst of the 4, but it's going to have the best taste. I'm going to make sure my palate is extremely clear for this one. There's been a return to creamy and smooth. And it's just got that bad, overall low quality taste and bad aftertaste. So I can't recommend the mustard Miscellany. It's a situation of great marketing. Oh, I mean, it might have even been marketed as kind of a holiday thing, you know, all these people pushing low quality, like hot sauce combos for the holidays and stuff like that. I mean, this has just been an extremely poor showing. So the only thing I've liked about this is the presentation and the marketing, the packaging and stuff like that. So after extensive meditation, I think that Donald and I agree. This is some low quality nastiness. Thanks for watching.